everybody. Full-blown child abuser. Right there. Yep. Right there. Yep. There you go, YouTubers. Woo! Yeah, there he goes. Okay, so let me explain to you what just happened. Oh, I'm having luck, sweetheart. You need to look Shawna Sipherd up on YouTube and yep, SHAWNA, S as in Sam, IPHER. I'll write it down. Oh, dude, no, check this out. Girl, I got a link right here for you. I got some links printed off.
Oh, good.
Here's my link.
I'm sorry you have to go through all that.
Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. When you watch my YouTube channel, which here's the direct link.
The whole story, huh?
The whole story. He's abusive. He has beat the crap out of my son. He took my son off cannabis that was 100% controlling his seizures, all to manipulate our authorities and further his agenda in our family court. He lied to, so far, two doctors that have rescinded care. He lied about a 20-minute seizure that he recorded and we had a text conversation about. He continued giving my son the cannabis that I made, that he accused me of poisoning, and went over to the sheriff and lied and said I was poisoning my son. He continued giving that exact medicine per medical records through October of 2017, and he told Placer County Sheriff on June 8th that I was poisoning my son.
Did they come for you?
Oh yeah, they came for me, but they got problems because of that. Okay, cool. I'm here to meet with the director now. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
I'm
God,
Robert.
I'm so sorry, Robert.
Well, I just got in, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
Okay, well, I
can
am
speak with you in
recording
the clinic.
this,
That's
and
okay.
it will be on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
I can take you
fantastic.
inside if you'd like and just
I
sit
would
in
love
and
to sit
examine.
down with you.
Sure. let's
Thank
do
you
it.
so much.
Well, I'm happy to meet with you. Come on in. Come on in.
Poor
Let
Mariana.
me see. Let me just see if
She's so precious. I feel so bad.
Come on in here. Well, I know how stressful some of these situations can be.
Oh my God, you have no idea, and I am so sorry to have you guys involved in
Well,
this. But
again, I'm sorry that you're going through it because you're the one who's facing most of the stress.
oh yes, so. Well, you're going to be the star of my show today.
Okay.
So, would you like
Hopefully
to
I'll be a
introduce yourself?
YouTube star.
Dude, you have no idea how this is going to be. So,
Okay.
would you like to introduce yourself to my
I'm Robert.
viewers?
Yes.
Robert,
And
and you are?
And I'm the practice manager here at the clinic.
And what clinic are we at?
This is Stallant Health.
Stallant Health, holy Toledo people, I have to tell you, these people
Hopefully-
are absolutely
hopefully we're
amazing. No, they are amazing. I have
By the way,
nothing
I tried to
but
get
good
you
things
faster
to
as
say.
well.
I'm so sorry, I was freaking
off-site
out.
and I tried to get here as quickly as I could. And
Yeah, I tried to get this set up in advance so that I could be here. I wanted to
When he was
videotape him coming in and the whole thing, and he got here early and got back in there. So, anyways, yes, my nerves are calming down. So anyways, this pile of documents that I bring, I don't show up without legitimate documents. Where
well, I see you've got
everything...
stack.
Oh, honey, you have no idea. I have feet upon feet of stacks.
So there's a court order
Yes.
right now.
Yes, I really don't have time to go into the whole thing unless you would like me to spend about 10 minutes going into it, if you would like to know.
Let's do it, sure.
Dude, let's
Just
do
so
it.
if he comes back, we can know how to handle it. You know, I want to know exactly what the documentation says because we're here for you. You're the mom. You're the mom.
He lied
of the
about me
child.
and said that I did drugs while I was pregnant with our son, causing special needs and epilepsy. I was hospitalized several times, lots of blood work. I don't know that you could get away with doing drugs while you're pregnant. He said that I abused my Adderall. I didn't have an Adderall prescription for over 2 years after my son was born, and I have blood work proving that there was never those drugs in my system. I had an active cannabis prescription at the time I was pregnant, and I didn't even have cannabis in my system, and yet he has one of his many lies ran the courtroom with. I abused Adderall, and That's why my son has special needs. And it's in your medical records even.
Mhm.
In everyone's medical records. So, all right, rewind. My son was diagnosed with epilepsy right after we moved to Idaho. He had been seen by neurologists. We called them episodes. We didn't know what they were. And had EEGs and ambulatory as well as in the hospital, had captured some, but it just wasn't quite enough, or they needed more data to significantly diagnose him with an actual diagnosis of epilepsy. So my then husband got.
Yeah, this is yours from the lobby, right?
Thank you so much. I love this place. You're amazing. Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
So if you happen to notice the numbers up there, if it gets to like 12 or 13, let me know. We'll stop it and start over so that I can keep them uploading on YouTube. It has a problem with longer than 15 minutes. So anyways, we moved to Idaho. My ex-husband had gotten transferred. He had been working in wireless industry for years, burned out on being on the road in the Bay Area. So we moved to Idaho because he got transferred to the rural area of Montana, Wyoming, and Washington and stuff. And at least at that point, he could come home on weekends or, at least twice a month, where before it was just too far for him to drive in for a weekend, and the company would only let him pay to come home once a month, and we just couldn't afford that. So we decided, okay, this is a great opportunity. Get out of California, the politics, the financial end of it. It changed.
The property taxes, the rents.
And
how
this,
expensive things are out
absolutely,
here.
we were definitely having issues with housing and being able to afford, find something that could fit our.
It's out of control.
Oh, it is so out of control.
Folks from the Bay Area come up here and buy everything up to be close to Tahoe, and it just leaves the rest of us out of luck.
Yeah, scrambling. Yeah, exactly. So we moved to Idaho. During the time we were in Idaho, right after we moved there, our son's official diagnosis came in that he had epilepsy. So at that point, he's having seizures all the time, and the doctor prescribed stuff to you. So we tried a handful of different drugs. They didn't work. I reported a month later that his hair texture had changed, his skin tone had changed, the anger, the non-sleeping, the non-eating, just a whole humongous list of things that he was experiencing as side effects from this drug. So we changed his medicine, still didn't control his seizures, all of the side effects. So we had 3 different kinds of medicine at that point. He was still having seizures, and I looked into the cannabis study in Idaho. We decided to move back before his name come up on that study because we had just moved there, a month before he got diagnosed. So we thought, well, you know what? The pharmaceuticals aren't working, and we're definitely pro-cannabis. I have glaucoma from a kid hitting me in the eye with a rock when I was 10, and I've had ulnar nerve surgery on my elbow. I used it to help with pain, and it is an amazing plant for a lot of things if it's used properly. And there's a complete science to it. It's not like the 60s. It is a full-blown, broke-down science these days. So I'm completely pro-cannabis, and so is my ex-husband. So we decided to move back to California specifically to be able to medicate with cannabis. We located a doctor, local pediatric cannabis specialist, Dr. Bannister in Grass Valley. He specializes, he's a medical doctor specializing in anesthesiology, specializing in pediatric cannabis, and he's amazing. We took our son to him. I had all of the medical records. He went through it. My son completely qualified for a Prop 215 recommendation. My ex-husband was there. He drove me, myself, and my boyfriend, Brian Pello, and our son to the doctor. He participated 100%, administered the medicine with me per Dr. Bannister. I went to the cannabis clubs, purchased gummy bears, chocolate bars, cookies, things like that as a treat and like a midday dose, and you just kind of watch how he's doing. I can see a seizure coming 30 minutes before it hits. I can see it in his eyes. He's off. His complexion is different. Everything about him is different before he has a seizure. And he had a seizure day before yesterday, 2 really bad seizures. I called it before they were coming. In fact, his second seizure, I had already started recording him because he looked weird. And lo and behold, there's a seizure
It's great that you can record it because that'll help your doctor out
Absolutely.
a lot as he assesses what's taking place.
Yep, exactly. Well, Mr. Sipherd and I had been sharing the children because
that's your
Kevin,
your partner.
Yes,
okay.
my ex-husband that was just here with my son. He had been on the road a lot, so he was basically an absent parent. He worked a lot. He was home on weekends. He'd have to sleep and get caught up. Go to soccer games and hang out with the family as much as possible. He was extremely exhausted and overworked, which exacerbated his frustration, his patience level. He has controlled diabetes. He was diagnosed in 2013. He hasn't taken care of himself since 2015 with 0 medication. I know that causes brain problems. And he has anger issues. He's been physically abusive for 9 years, witnessed by both of my oldest daughters involved in the scuttles. He's abused my 16-year-old daughter. He's abused my son. In fact, my son got stitches in his knee in June 19th of last year. Mr. Sipherd claims that my son fell, scraped his knee while riding his quad, scraped his knee while riding past some shrubs, and then, he scraped it on the swimming pool. All 4 different statements, plus I have 2 different statements in text message to me of how this injury in his knee happened. Mr. Sipherd didn't tell me that it happened. I found out days after it happened, and only because I had my paid professional supervised visit, my first paid professional supervised visit on July 3rd, 2017, and he had to tell me because I was going to see my son. So we were at paid professional supervised visit. Colvin was crawling all around, and he hurt his knee, and so he picked his knee up, and he was like, "Oh, owie," and he proceeded to tell me about his owie, and that Daddy threw him. Unprompted, in front of the mediator, recording it.
Sure.
I will hold on, absolutely. Okay, so this is at like 12 and a half minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off, and when he comes back in, I'll start another one, and I'll try to remember where I was at to pick back up. Anyways, if you guys live in the area, Stallant Health is amazing, so I have nothing but good things to say about this place. So I'm going to stop and start again. Thanks for watching.